as they are, and breathing in our truth. Breathing in our truth means being present in the here and the now. And rather than being concerned about what is right, what is wrong, instead, we're focused on what is true. If we're feeling trapped, tight, sore, joyful, whatever it is that we're feeling, that is the truth. That's our focus. So we're just going to breathe in and out in these first few breaths and discover what is our truth this morning. However you choose to be seated is perfect. And we'll start that breath in and out the nose. On the breath in, let's really fill up the front of the body. And on the breath out, if the breath needs to come through the throat, through the mouth, let's just honor that. That's just the body saying, I need this. Maybe our exhale is a sigh. And maybe we can start to experiment with making that sigh come through the throat with closed lips. And maybe when we do that, we can push more air through the throat. Maybe making space in the mouth, even with the lips closed. From here, let's make a commitment to do our best work in this class, but also in all the things that we're going to be doing today, tomorrow, and begin to make a habit of being honest in our work, showing excellence and integrity in all the things. Let's breathe in and out, and let's notice through our practice today any of the things that we find that might need adjustments, change, modifications, whether that's in the yoga postures we're going to be doing today. Maybe it's through some enlightenment that we find in our practice today. If we find that we want to direct change, we'll do that with affection, affirmation, and attention to all the details. Let's grant ourselves grace and mercy today, knowing that we may be out of sorts, things may not be business as usual, and therefore anything that may look like a mishap today, we're just going to count as an experiment. And then lastly, bringing our hands into that Anjali Mudra, finding a little bit of space in the cupped hands, feeling that space where our hands are not all the way touching through the palm, but slightly cupped. Let's breathe in and out, and let's fill that space with gratitude. We'll continue to breathe all the way in and all the way out. And even if we don't even know where to be grateful, let's just start with, I am grateful. I am grateful that the sun rose and I am still here. I am grateful that I've carved out this space of time, however much it is, to spend time moving my body, appreciating my abilities, moving through work, allowing my mind to notice and focus. One more thought of breath into gratitude. We'll open the hands, place them on the knees, and we're going to come in big and wide here and then squeeze all the way together. Just opening and closing the palms. And then starting to let the fingertips reach to the floor and then reach up to the sky. Fingertips down. And then we'll bring that in. We're going to touch opposite shoulders, lift the elbows, and reach out. So we're in rounded arms as if we're giving an air hug, as we will likely be doing for some time now, right? And letting the back of the arm reach back. And as we come across, let's bring in all the good things. Touch the shoulders. In other words, we don't want to be here and here. Let's be as big and wide as we can, letting that open out in the back and then come across. And we're going to add a breath to this. Our breath will come in and our exhale all the way, dropping the shoulders down, squeezing the shoulder blades. For me, it feels good to go slow right here and be very deliberate. Maybe you want to go a little bit more quickly, maybe even slower than me. And that is your truth. You get to do that today. The next time we come to cross, we're going to stay crossed. And we're going to notice which hand is on the bottom, which arm. That arm is going to push us up, letting it go. Let's notice here, what's tight, what's talking to us. Bring it around, other side. Make sure the other arm is on the bottom, and up we go. We'll bring our hands to the floor. We can use blocks here or just fingertips. And we're going to start to sway the head. And as we do, let's try to arc as high as possible so that we're lengthening the neck. From here, we're going to take that forward. We're going side to side, reaching as far forward and as far to the side as we can. Now we're going to take our head back to the top and we're going to take some really small circles. So we're creating this little bitty halo. And then we're going to let it get a little bit larger. And we're going to know that we are in control of our head. We're not just letting it go anywhere. We're placing it in every one of these spaces. And we'll go as large as we feel we can. And then we're going to come to a stopping point in the front of the body. We're going to squeeze the shoulders back, press the hips down so we're really tall. Reach the head forward and take a big breath. And on the exhale, we'll draw the crown back to the sky. Now we're going to circle the other way. Little small circles. And we'll let it get a little bit bigger. And we're going to remember that we are in charge of this. We're intentionally placing the crown of the head into every space of the circles, even as they get larger. Especially as they get larger, so that we are not allowing the head to hang heavy on the back of the neck. The next time around, we'll stop in the front. We'll pull the shoulders back, press the hips down, open the heart, reach the top of the head forward. We'll draw it up and relax. Let everything move one more time. While we're here close to the floor, we are going to come into our all fours. So go ahead and move around into that space. We remember that we want to protect our knees. So if you would like to use any sort of cushion or anything under your knees, that is an option. I have too many yoga tools. I'm not sure if you really can do that, but I have a lot of them out today. Hands are wide. Let's set everything up. So imagine that you have knees and hands squared under the hips and the shoulders. And we'll just start through cat and cow. So we're going to breathe up into our cow. Through neutral spine, let's find cow. Oh, excuse me, that's cat. I do know my animals. Breathe up and exhale. So as we come into the cow, let's pull the belly up. Breathe. So here the cat tail is up. And if we were to think about a cow, we can bring the udders up. So the pelvis is doing a large portion of the work. So let's just move into that. Notice that work. Continue to allow the pelvis to be leading and guiding that work. And then we're going to add in the rib cage. Letting the rib cage drop down and then pull up. So now we've added work. The pelvis is still moving. It's still engaged. It's not moving simply because the ribs are. And the ribs are not moving simply because the pelvis is. Let's see if we can add in some front body work and bring the heart and throat up with the ribs, and then open the heart and the throat as the ribs drop down. The pelvis is still working the bottom of the body. And now we have all of the torso completely engaged, initiating its own movement, and not relying on another part to simply drag it along. We're going to come and finish in cat pose. So fingertips are really pressing down, the top of the feet are pressing down. Let's think about those parts. In the pelvis, we have the low belly pulled up. In the ribs, we're open in the back, reaching the rib cage out to the sky. In the heart and the throat, we're pulled up into a bind position. And we're going to unfold all of those things. Let's come and sit back in some way, maybe sitting on our knees, and Vajrasana is comfortable. We can do that. So in yoga, there are binds we can do with being in a bound angle, things we've done with our arms before. But another way to think of a bind is to pull into our locks. So we already know root lock, pulling the pelvic floor toward the center. We can do that just right here as we're seated. Just thinking of the 4 points of the pelvic floor, moving in toward the very center. Excuse me. And then we can release that. Another lock can be done by, or another bandha, as these are called, by pulling the low belly up toward the ribs. This is easiest done in downward facing dog in my experience, but we can also do it in all fours. So we just spoke about the cow being having udders, and this particular lock, the belly lock, is the Uddiyana. So it begins with the UDD, like udders. And I say all that because that's the part we're going to think about, and also because I love language and I love how it all just kind of connects together. So thinking about the very lowest part of the belly, we're going to draw it in toward the ribs. And as we do, let's notice the glutes. We do not want to engage the glutes or the legs at all for that matter, which becomes really difficult. Now from here, what we're going to do is we're going to take our toes under and push into our down dog, soft knees, letting those shoulders really roll back toward one another, extending the arms all the way that we can. And then we can look under at our belly and try really hard to pull all the low belly toward the bottom rib. Now, if you can see your belly, you can see that it makes this really funny shape. Now we're going to bring it back down. And you might remember doing that as a kid. A lot of times, my son used to do that all the time. And we'd be like, oh, that's so gross, stop doing that. Come to find out, he's just a little yogi, I suppose. But that's just a really great way to begin to initiate all the tiny movements of the particular muscles in the low belly. So that's really fun to practice. Another one is going to be drawing the throat. So we have a throat lock. And what we'll do is, it's our hungry, hungry hippo exercise. So we're going to reach the chin forward, bring it down, say over a small ball, and draw it back and place it into the throat. So we'll breathe out, exhale, breathe out, and exhale. So we'll just start to explore those a little bit more, but even through this week, maybe think about doing some of that. That's also a really great way, like if you're planning to do a meditation and you're having a hard time shaking off the distractions, then focusing on one of the bandhas is a really great way to set yourself up for some focus. So passing that on for later use. All right, so from here, we're going to practice our little puppy pose. So we're in our all fours, and we're going to let our arms reach out, and we're going to start to draw our hips up to the sky and our ribs and heart toward the mat. We'll let our forearms come in and drop. Maybe you're already ready to take your arms out a little more and drop into that. Let's bring it back. So noticing where we were, thinking about the place that you just were in the puppy pose, we'll warm up our shoulders a bit more and then go back and see if it worked. So here we are. We're going to breathe forward, exhale back, just moving through this flow. Here's the breath, and here's the exhale. Maybe you would like to bring your hands a little more to the front and create a greater incline and a deeper stretch through the arms here. That is your choice. And maybe you would like to add a dip and exhaling back and breathing forward and exhaling back, just starting to let the body work and warm. Now we want to know that as we take this little dip into the arms, this little baby chaturanga here, we're keeping the elbows close to the body. We're taking the head, heart, and shoulders forward. And we're keeping the belly pulled into the spine. Let's do 2 more. Drawing the toes under. We'll come all the way in. Let's pedal. Let the hips and the side body engage into this work. And let's drop the head and just let the head shake, squiggle, circle. We're going to walk our feet into the center of the mat, bring our body up to standing, just rolling up, rolling the shoulders back. Put that over there in my little yoga tool chest. So we want to be in a place where we have a little bit of room. We're going to do some really fun things today. And they're possibly a little silly. So being in the privacy of our own home is helpful. All right, so just standing in the middle of our mat, we're going to take some swings, some arm swings. As we do this, we're going to let the center of the body initiate this movement. We're going to bring one arm to the front and let it swing around in a circle. And we're not trying to reach to a certain place. We're just allowing the body to move. Let's reverse that. When I send this video out to you, I'm going to try to remember to include an app. Let that arm stop where it will and go to the other side. There are 2 apps I want to tell you about that have been very helpful for me these past few weeks. Let's reverse that. They're both free. Yay. And there are no ads so far. Let that stop. And from here, we're going to let our arms come back into a swing, and we're going to place them, allow them to touch onto the body somewhere, shoulder, arm, rib, anywhere you like. And then we'll let all of that come to stop. So these apps are tracking apps that you can track your habits, track the things that you would like to put into place. So they're really, really awesome. And one in particular guides you through a given set of 8 habits, and the other one you're allowed to put in whatever habits you like. So I'll explain those more into detail. But when I send you this email with this information, you're going to know this is what I mean by swing. Okay, so these are the swings. You'll see what that means when the email comes in. So another thing we're going to look at today is tapping, which we've done before. And we're just going to take our hands and just gently slap, if you will, if you want to say that, all the way down. And then we're going to bring cupped hands next to the knee and just gently give the knee a little bit there, and we'll come into the other side. Now in Qigong, which is similar to yoga, but through Chinese medicine, come on into the knee with those cupped hands. They have a specific how many times you do this and what have you. But if you don't know those things, then just waking up in the morning and just giving yourself this circulatory love can be very awakening and warming and invigorating. It's very energizing. Not necessarily something you want to do at nighttime if you're having a hard time sleeping. But if you are a morning struggler, then that might be good. Let's take the inside of our fist, the little cinnamon roll part here, and we're going to place it right here on the side of the hip, the little cushy part, and we're just going to move in and out through there, and we're very relaxed. The glutes are not engaged here. Now allow the action to move maybe to the low back. This is very gentle. We're not going to try to bruise ourselves or anything, but where does that feel good? Maybe sometimes I'll go all the way up my back as far as I can, and just allowing some movement there. Open and close the hands. We were talking about our bandhas earlier. There's also Hasta Bandha with the hands on the floor that we'll look at later, and Pada Bandha. So with the footlock, we've actually done that before in class. As I've been learning these things, I'm like, oh, we already do that. We're so smart. So we're going to start with our feet pretty wide so that we're nice and stable, especially if you're on carpet or on a floor that's not a really hard surface. Be particularly careful with that because it's a little more difficult to balance. Knees are soft. The hips are reaching toward the floor. So we're going to have to get a little bit imaginative here, a little creative. And as we bend our knees and we drop into this place, that's fine. So practice that. Just dropping into our sunflowers and dropping into the plie, all right? That's warming. There's work happening there. But then we can add some work. So as we get ready to draw to the floor, let's act as if we were using our toes to pick up, maybe say a marble off the floor. So picking that up off the floor and drawing the top of the body toward the floor. Suddenly everything is engaged. Now let's reverse that, let go of the toes, and press with the feet to come back up. So that's what we're going to focus on today in our sunflowers. Arms are just going to breathe up and breathe down. It's the legs and the feet that are working. The foot is pushing us back up and our breath draws in. Our feet are pulling us down. They're locked. They're binding to the floor. Reach up. Locking the feet and release to press away. Breathe. And as we do that, let's focus on the inner thigh. Let's also focus on the place where the hamstring meets the glutes. We're just going to focus there and breathe up and exhale down. pressing with the feet, pulling back to the earth with the feet. The arms are being long. If you want to engage here and add some work to the arm as we scoop down and then release and float the arms, press with the feet. We'll do 2 more. We're going to finish in our 5-point star, or starfish pose, as I like to call it. Maybe that's because I teach preschool, you think? Shaking everything out here, let the hands shake out, let the head be loose, and then come all the way into extension. The belly's pulled into the spine. This is our breath up. On our exhale down, we're going back into that same place, but our opposite hand is going to reach across to the knee, the calf muscle, the floor, wherever over there we can reach. And then we would go to the other side. Now here's the hard part. Keeping the knee pulled back. So as we come across, the body is going to want to do that, but we're going to keep it where it is. And that's where the work is going to come in. All right. Here we go. Our breath is up. Let's exhale, reach. Push with the feet, big breath. Exhale. Maybe you want to move back into that pulling with the feet as you come down. Breathing up. And exhale. We're only going over as far as we can and keep the knee in its place. Pulling down. Now, can we add in a contraction with the belly here? Exhale. Push with the feet. We have 1 more set. We'll finish back in that 5-point star. Exhaling over, breathing up. We're going to relax the legs, give them a shake. We're going to bring our hands together back in that Anjali Mudra, and then we're going to bring them back. So if I show you where that is, we're pointed down in the back. We're just standing in whatever comfortable way we can. And we're going to bring our bottom rib toward the hip bone. Let's bring our elbows up to the sky. And let's bring our fingertips toward the earth. Our gaze is slightly upward. We'll take a breath here. And on the exhale, unfold and bring all of that to the center. We'll come back into mountain pose. Lovely. So the body's getting warm. Let's practice our camel pose. Our feet are in mountain-ish. We're going to bring the fist into the low back. All right, now let's go ahead and go through some of our particulars here. Remember that we're not going to let our belly poke out. We want to press the sacrum, the little dimples in the back. Let's press that, actively engage that into our hands. And then we're also going to lift up the heart, open the throat, and reach the chin to the sky. So this is our beginning place, and let's focus on our gaze. What is it that we see up here? All right, now we're going to reach our gaze back a little bit more. Where's the belly? The knees are soft. We're leaning into the hands. We're reaching the heart to the sky. Gaze back a little more, heart a little higher. And we'll continue that motion until we get to our best place. And then we'll unfold with our gaze. Bringing our heart up, slowly reversing, focusing on each little thing back into mountain pose. Nice. Let's step back to the middle of our mat. We're going to breathe our hands all the way up. Exhale, forward fold. We'll breathe into our half bend. Exhale back to forward fold. Breathing into our chair. Exhale over. We're going to breathe, roll the shoulders, drop the belly into our little airplane. We're back into our forward fold. Breathe and round the body. Exhale, roll up. The breath is up and the exhale is over. We'll breathe into our half bend and exhale to forward fold. Breathing into chair. Exhaling into our forward fold. We'll breathe into our airplane. Exhale back to forward fold. Breathe and round. Exhale, unfold the body. Twice more through, increasing our speed ever so slightly. We're in the half bend and we're forward in the chair. Exhale. Breathe in, hips back. Exhale, forward. Breathe in, round. Exhale. Last time we breathe up and over. In the half bend, breathe. Exhale. Breathe to chair. Exhale, over. Breathe in, round. Exhale, unfold. And here we go. Nice. The legs are getting a little more warm. Same thing into our little warrior flow. Just warming up the legs and the hips. Let's think about our good posture. We've got squared hips. Squaring the hips might mean softening the knee in the back. What does your body say to do? That's what we do. We'll start with our hands here. Set up our good posture. Remember that we're going to go from warrior 1 to warrior 2. We'll come into reverse warrior, side angle pose, and repeat it. We're going to do 4 on each side. We'll breathe into the pose. Exhale into the stretch. Breathe to warrior 2. Exhale, stretch. Breathe, bring it back. Exhale, stretch. Breathe it around. Exhale. Breathe back around into warrior 1 and exhale. Breathe in and out. Breathe and reach around. Long limbs. Bring it back in. Exhale into the stretch. The hand comes around to the back. We're back to warrior 1. Exhale. And breathe and move. Finding that good warrior 2. Breathe and reach. Beautiful, y'all. And exhale. Bring it around. Exhale here. Let that hand come back. Breathe again to warrior 1. Exhale into that pose. Feel the hips getting warm. Finding warrior 2. Reaching around. Letting the shoulders engage here. Finding that side angle pose. We'll bring our hands to heart center. We're going to bring the back foot into heel up for lunge. And we're going to square the hips. We're very, very square. So we're going to take a breath and on the exhale, drop down an inch or so. Square the hips. Maybe find root lock, Mula Bandha here. Shoulders are back, big breath. Exhale, we're a little lower. Breathe, square the hips. One hip's not dropped lower than the other. Exhale, drop a little lower. And then maybe we want to go down a little more. Holding that, the belly's pulled in. We're going to bring everything all the way up and around. Back to our 5-pointed star. Shake it all out. Let's bring the leg over there, over to the top of the mat, into our mountain pose. Yay! Nice. All right, we're going to set up the other side. So now I'm going to go this way so that I don't have my back to you. Here we are in our warrior 1 setup. We're going to be very squared, setting our foot into the right place. So we'll check our posture here. And then we'll breathe into our warrior 1. Exhale into the stretch. Breathe and move and exhale. It's so noticeable how warm the other side is versus this one now. And bring around. Breathe and move. Exhale, stretch. The hand comes back. We're in our warrior one. And exhale. And breathe and move. And exhale. Breathe, bring it around. Exhale into the stretch. Breathe around. Draw it in. And now that hand comes around. Squaring the hips, getting warm. Warrior two. Really engage the arms as they come around here. And then we're back into our side angle pose. One more flow all the way through. Breathing into that warrior one. Exhale, everything is squared, shoulders are dropped. Breathe and lift into our warrior two. Feeling evenness in the body. Bringing it around into our reverse warrior, reaching that hand way up. Bringing it all the way back. Engaging the hand and leg together here, creating that tension. And we'll sweep the hand around. We're going to square the body, lift the heel in the back. Hands are at our Anjali Mudra, right at heart center. We'll take a breath. On the exhale, drop. Breathing in. Exhale, drop down. The breath comes in, and the exhale drops. Breathing in. Exhale, we're moving down as low as our body feels good to move. Maybe we go one more time. Feeling what we feel, noticing the things, noticing all the feelings. We're going to come all the way back up. Bring that back foot forward. Back to our mountain pose. Nice. Shake that out. Yeah, that's feeling good. Body's ready to go now. Know that you're going to need some space. So if you need to clear anything away, we're going to be in our downward facing dog. But we're going to need space on either side of our down dog to practice this wild thing pose. So here we are in, let's move to the top of the mat. Make sure I have enough space in here. I requested to use the kitchen today for our class, and my family vetoed that. They're like, Mom, I need to get in the kitchen. My husband said, yeah, I don't think anybody wants to see me walk through the kitchen first thing in the morning. I don't know why they can't just, sleep till 9:30. Anyway, let's breathe all the way in. Exhale down. We're going to step back 1 foot at a time, finding our down dog. We'll move through some sun salutations before we get started in our wild thing work. So just bending whatever you need here to get ready to move through the work. We'll breathe forward into our plank. On the exhale, find our chaturanga. Slowly breathe into the up dog. Exhale, we'll bring the belly button back. Use the fingertips as much as the heel of the hand. Finding that down dog. Let's go ahead and pick 1 foot up. Lift it toward the sky. Open the hip. Bend that knee back. Find that stretch through the groin. Then we'll come back in. Bring the knee toward the belly. Work on getting the pinky toe next to the thumb. Then lift the other. Breathe and sweep up. Everything's very deliberate. We're not just swinging into this pose. We'll step back through that lunge, taking the other leg back. Finding that down dog. Moving the body. reaching up. Now, as we come back, remember the belly button comes into the spine, and then the sits bones will reach back. Let's lift the other leg. Open the hip out. Let that foot reach back. Bringing it back to the sky. Knee to the belly, pinky toe toward the thumb. Finding that lunge. And back together. Let's move a little more quickly. All the way down. Reaching back. Reaching the other leg back. Finding that lunge every time that we go through that position. Here's our chaturanga. Here's our up dog. We're going to lift that leg, open and reach back. Draw it in. Plant it forward. Noticing that lunge as we went through. And again. Stepping back. Finding our chaturanga. Lowering down. All the way. Bring that one in. Did we open our leg out? If we didn't open it out, let's do that. We'll bring it in. Find that lunge. And all the way back up. All right, I said I was going to do this today, so I'm going to do it. Y'all are going to love this. I hope I have it on here. It was on my other device. Y'all are going to love this. So if we're going to do the pose, we're going to listen to the song. All right, we're at the top of our mat. We breathe. Exhale. Step back. You decide which one we're going to go for. Lift that leg up. We're going to open out to the side. We're going to see the space where our foot is going to land. The leg we just came from is going to stretch out away from the fingertips that are reaching overhead. We're going to lift the sacrum, lift the heart. We're going to come back in, planting that foot on the floor that's already on the mat, lifting the sacrum, lifting the hips, reaching that foot back into our three-legged dog, bringing it forward and stepping back into space. We're wild things, aren't we? Yay! We're ready for the other side. Make an adjustment if you need to. We're at the top of the mat. We're going to breathe up and exhale. We're going to step it back. We're in our down dog. We're going to lift the other leg. Open it out. See the space where we're going to go. The supporting foot stays on the mat and reaches out. Now we can adjust the hand if needed. We're reaching hips high, heart high, foot away. Pressing the hips up, reaching into the pose. We're coming back around. The foot on the floor is going to assist us back into our three-legged dog. Sweep that foot through, together, all the way up and down. Yay! I'm so excited that we got to do that. So we made everything groovy. Oh, fantastic. Y'all, that one's really tough. Yay. All right, so when we get back together in the studio, we are definitely going to do that one. Wonderful, wonderful. All right, so by show of thumbs up, how's everybody feeling about that? Yeah, that's a good one. And it's really great too, getting the heart rate up. You know, our heart rate goes up when we struggle. And struggle is not a bad thing by any means. That's a good thing. So from there, let's take some stretches. So we're going to get back down on the floor, whatever that looks like for you. Now, we are going to stay on the floor from here. So if you would like anything to assist with that, definitely have it nearby. So the legs and the hips are probably feeling pretty open, pretty good right now. Let's start in our butterfly. Baddha Konasana. I've been learning so many new things on our little hiatus. We're going to hold on low on the legs. We're going to roll the shoulders, reach the heart and the belly forward. Let the head and neck be loose. Give the body any sort of squiggles or wiggles that it needs. And we're taking the entire front part of the body forward. The elbows are going to reach toward the bend of the leg, the inner thigh, somewhere through that space, and help give more stretch. If having the elbows into the leg does not feel good, then we don't do that part. We're just going to reach forward. Breathing in and breathing out. Exhale. And breathe in and out. Let the head and the neck feel slightly heavy as we go forward. Any sort of readjustments that we want to make as we move into the stretch, the body's becoming a bit more flexible as we go, so we may need to make some adjustments there. Maybe you would like to bring the inside of the forearm to the shin and hold the bottom part of the ankle and reach. We're going to take both hands over toward one side and twist the body here, letting that free hand reach up, back, out, somewhere else. We'll fold back in, lengthen back into that flat frame that we had before. And then we'll work over to the other side, finding a twist here, letting the arm move if we want. And bringing that back in. One more time through our butterfly stretch, feeling the hips, the lower back, maybe even the shoulders as we reach the shoulders away, reach the heart and the head forward. And we'll come back in. We'll use our hands to come in here. We're going to move into a wide leg stretch today. So I'll bring a little bit of dance class into our yoga class today. We're going to have our toes facing up and eventually back. So we don't want to bring our toes forward. We want them to stay pulled back and reach. This is a really difficult place for me personally to stretch. A lot of people love this stretch. If you have a strap and would like to use that here, that might be really nice. I will be a good example of that and grab my strap. It seems like every time I go to the studio, I bring something else home. So I'm in the spare bedroom, hoping that my husband doesn't look in here anytime soon, because I've brought home so many random things from the studio. So here we are. Find your strap over one leg. Now we're going to face our body to the front. So whatever is your front, that's where you're going to face. And you're holding on over here with one hand. The other hand is going to reach up. This hand is going to continue to reach away from the body. Reaching away, reaching away. So we're not going here, right? We're going there. Reach away, reach away. Now the hip that we just came from, let's press it down into the floor. Ah, that made a difference. Continue to reach away with that hand and to the floor with the opposite hip. Now we're going to take a breath and Reach the body up. Let the breath inflate us back into this space. Now from here, this arm's going to reach out and across. We're going to turn our focus. So now we may have to adjust the hips a little bit. And rather than bringing the side body to the leg, we're bringing the front body to the leg. We're still going to hold on with one hand wherever our strap can reach or our hand can already reach. And this hand is going to reach up and then forward. The opposite hip still on the floor, reaching forward. Thinking of bringing our bottom ribs toward our knee. Reaching the head out and away from the heart. And then we'll breathe, inflate, bring all of this back up and down and around. We'll set up for the other side. Give that a good shake. If we need to readjust in any way, we can do that. And now here we are with the front of our body facing the mat. The toes are reached back. We're going to reach this hand up and away. Continue to reach it away from the body. Pinky toes toward the floor. Opposite hip toward the floor. Reaching away, thinking about bringing our side body toward our leg. We're breathing in and out. Opening out the side body while stretching the leg. We'll breathe and inflate. Let the body rise up. And then we'll readjust. And now we're thinking about bringing the front of the body toward the leg. This hand is up. And then we start to reach out and forward toward the toes. Big breath, letting that back hip, that opposite hip reach down. Breathe in and breathe out. I know it's really hard to relax here, but the more tension that we keep, the less flexible we're going to be. Trying to really reach away. We'll let the breath inflate and bring it all the way back up and around. Our legs are in distress, so we will assist them with our hands as we come in. Let's give ourselves a little hug and squeeze here. Now, before we get into Shavasana, we are going to meditate for a few minutes once we get there. If you would like to meditate seated first and then take Shavasana in corpse pose or in reclined butterfly, whatever it is that you like, that is your option. If you would like to prepare a space to have legs up the wall, oh my goodness, that sounds like an amazing idea. I think I will. But first, let's think. So I shared with you earlier that there are some really awesome habits that we can start to develop. One of those is gratitude. Another is sleep. So whenever it's time to go to bed, if there's still things left to do in the day, you can say, well, you know what? Jill said I need to sleep. I do not mind being your excuse. But your health is your best excuse. And it's not just mental health, it's physical health. Mental health is just as important, but it is both. So as we settle in, let's move back to that little mantra that I've been using. Breathing in acceptance of what we could or couldn't do today. We did well thing today, so we are very accepting of our work. Breathing in a commitment to our best work. Breathing in grace and mercy. Breathing in change where needed. And breathing in, focusing on gratitude. So just as we settle into this place, it's settling into a comfortable position to be open, focused, motivated, to stay on target. Those are hard things to do. We'll be grateful for our ability to do those things. And through our meditation today, we're going to focus on happiness. Focusing on choosing to be happy. I have a few things that we're going to read as we breathe into this. If you want to find your hands in a mudra, whatever it is that is best for you in this place. Whoever pursues righteousness and love finds life, prosperity, and honor. So maybe one more time hearing that. Whoever pursues righteousness and love finds life, prosperity, and honor. Let's not be about seeking happiness, but rather be all about seeing happiness. The happiness is there. We don't necessarily need so much to seek it, but rather just open our eyes to see it. So right now, let's take a moment and recall a time when we wished for what we have now. Time, rest, opportunity, learning. These are things that we do have now. And so right now, let's just remember back to when we were wishing that we had those things. Time affluence. We are all wealthy with time right now. And let's be grateful for these opportunities of learning, opportunities for discovery, discovering things about ourselves, about the people we live with, about our coworkers. Let's be grateful for our coping skills, for those that we already had and also for those that we've developed recently. As we breathe in and out, if something comes in and we find a distraction, let's come back to the place of gratitude. As our mind might begin to wander, we can say, oh yeah, I was working on gratitude. Coming back to that place. I was working on seeing my happiness and coming back to that place. When we're ready, we'll go ahead and take our position for Shavasana. We're going to use music as our focus for that. So finding ourselves either with legs up the wall, legs extended out, all the way reclined. We're starting to allow ourselves to slip into complete relaxation. Letting the jaw be loose, the arms and hands and shoulders be comfortable. We're going to start to just bring our attention back into our body. Begin to notice how we feel. Start to accept the truth of what is happening in our body right now. Absorb the pleasant feeling. Let's savor this moment. Just stepping outside of whatever is actually happening and viewing it with our mind's eye. Committing this feeling to memory. Breathing it in. Letting this peaceful, calm feeling become part of who we are. We'll start to bring our knees in, wiggle the toes, give the body any squiggles that it still needs. We'll make our way over to our side body. And then all the way up to seated. Finding our crisscross. Sukhasana, lotus. We'll take another breath. Let's bring our hands back into that Anjali Mudra. Again, remembering that space that was between. Holding that space, keeping that space open for continued gratitude will make our days all the more beautiful. And namaste. Thank you so much for joining class today.